Good morning, team. I'm so glad that you all had the opportunity to join the Spokes of Hope annual seminar, and I hope you will find it to be a rewarding and informative experience. I'm going to start off the seminar by discussing leadership. I'm a firm believer that there are just some people who are born to lead. They have a quality about them that inspires people, and they have a way of attracting individuals that want to support their cause. Why, then, do so many companies with these charismatic individuals still in charge still fail? I believe that it all comes down to a failure to successfully execute the 5 major management functions. These major functions include planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. I also believe that management styles play a huge role in a company's success, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. So, managers aren't simply there to boss people around, and I think that is something that we can all agree on. We have all had experiences with that one manager who had the propensity just to sit behind a desk and take credit for the success of the team, but blame others for failures. So what, as aspiring managers or even the well-versed managers, do to ensure that we are properly leading our teams and growing our business? For me, the first step is planning. Planning is the overseeing of tasks, materials, or resources needed to execute a goal or a project. For example, here at Spokes of Hope, we do a lot of work in small teams, and tasks are often delegated to group leaders. But as managers, we need to ensure that these area leads understand the benchmark objectives and work towards that goal. A manager's job is to ensure that our teams are able to do their job. This means that we need to ensure they have the supplies, like bikes and parts, resources, such as community contacts, and well-communicated tasks and responsibilities. It is our team's job to execute the tasks that we are giving them. When we fail to plan, the teams are no longer able to focus on their tasks, and as a result, the tasks become more stressful and are completed in a less satisfactory manner. The next step is organizing. Organizing is assigning tasks, functions, actions, or groups into relationships or categories based on their similar elements. As managers, we need to ensure that we are organizing our teams in a way that highlights their strengths. Ideally, we should have a team that is responsible for community outreach, one that's in charge of acquiring the bikes and parts, and one that is responsible for finances, as well as one that oversees promotional opportunities. Your individual charters may vary, but the bottom line is that it should be understood that everyone is assigned a group of tasks that are all related to the group's overall objective. When this organization is missing, responsibilities become unclear and vital tasks may be overlooked. One very underrated aspect of managing is staffing. Think of your experiences at different fast food restaurants. The right staff appears to be happy and eager to assist you, and they seem to enjoy their job. Their job is often not terribly difficult, and it would be easy to train most people at their duties. But the wrong staff can quickly break an organization. In the simplest terms, staffing is choosing and training the personnel who will be delegated specific tasks based on the roles that they fulfill within an organization. But remember, the type of people you hire will be a key in your success. Are they going to fit in and integrate well into your current team? Are they going to be able to show compassion to the people we are serving? Do they feel a sense of pride in the work they are doing? Remember, technical skills can be taught, but personality cannot. The next function of management is controlling. Simply put, it's just the oversight and foresight of the operations of a project. As a manager, you are responsible for the success of your charter. You need to be able to recognize if a team's having difficulties performing or completing a project, and then have the foresight to turn around the situation. It'll be up to you to lead the team to victory by evaluating the tasks that each group will be responsible for to ensure our goals are met. For example, if a client needs an influx of bikes and you do not immediately have that on hand, how will you be able to oversee the task of meeting this quota? You will be responsible for these issues so that your team can focus on executing the tasks that you have given them to ensure the goals are met. The final function of management is leading. This is the step that is usually mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically the hardest. Leading is the style in which someone exerts control. But it's not just a matter of wearing a tie, sipping coffee, and bossing people around. Managers are, of course, in charge of procedures, tasks, and staffing, as we've already discussed. However, they are also responsible for bringing out the best in their employees. The task-oriented side of managing is referred to transactional leadership. For example, your employees are performing a task in exchange for money, so a sort of a transaction is taking place. An effective manager also must exemplify grit, perseverance, restraint, creativity, patience, and charisma, and be able to instill these traits in their employees. This is called transformational leadership. Using these characteristics to transform individuals into productive, cohesive, successful teams is a very important function of management. Now that we've discussed the duties of an effective leader, let's talk about the different leadership styles that we might adopt. Now remember, not all leadership styles will be appropriate for all situations. There may be times where you have to integrate different styles in order to properly lead your team. The first style we will look at is directing. Plainly stated, this is telling employees what needs to be done, how to do it, and when it's due. But simply telling someone that you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in 30 minutes with strawberry jam and no crust doesn't promote good communication or interaction. Directing should ensure that the employee understands the task at hand via good communication. This happens by asking the employee if they understand the instructions and responsibilities that they have been given. It also helps to talk to the employee directly. We've all played that telephone game, and important details can get lost very quickly if the information has to go through too many channels. And that is something we want to avoid. If there are any questions, make sure you help the employee resolve the concerns through decision making. It's important to coach employees through this so that they can learn how to define problems, come up with solutions, and then execute the best plan of action. Then, as barriers are overcome and the task gets accomplished, be sure to praise your employees for their hard work. You may be well versed in the task that you were assigning, but perhaps this was an important assignment for this employee and they are proud of their work. Make sure you acknowledge their hard work and effort. Directing can seem impersonal at times, so it is essential that the employee knows that they have your support. The next style of management we will look at is discussing. Think of this more as a collaboration between you and the employee in order to accomplish a goal. For this, communication is key, and this style is great for employee development. Let's say the head of accounting has gone out for maternity leave. You know that a lot of paperwork gets shuffled through this department, but you cannot lend much support because you have a divisional meeting to attend. You know that the accounting department is made up of good, competent, capable workers, so you decide to sit down and discuss a plan of action with them. During this discussion, it's important to ask challenging questions and carefully listen to your employees' ideas and concerns. Through this Q&A, you and the team can brainstorm ideas, proactively look for potential problems, then come up with a sound plan of execution. If you notice that an employee is having difficulties completing a project, then it is important to coach him or her through it by breaking up their performance into small steps. For example, how do they think they did? What would they change if they could? Are there any alternate solutions to their problems? This empowers the employee to think critically and show them that you are interested in what they have to say. And make sure you praise them throughout the process. It takes a lot of courage for some employees to speak their ideas. They fear what their bosses and coworkers might think of their ideas. They do not want to look incompetent or made to feel like they had a bad idea. Thank employees for their contributions and remind them that one idea, even if it cannot be used as a solution may spark another idea that will be successful for the team. Bear in mind that discussions can be emotional, especially if you and the other person do not see eye to eye. As a manager, it's important to be open-minded to the employee's point of view. This will help build trust and confidence between you and the employee. The final style that we will look at is delegating. We have all had that manager who would assign us a project that he or she could have easily performed, but they would rather just kick up their feet in their office and play Tetris. They would just give us a stack of papers that is due by 5 p.m. with little direction or concern for the stack of work that we already have on our shoulders. Of course, this is not the way to delegate work. Delegation should empower employees. In a team setting, it can give them practice with leadership and interpersonal skills. Delegating, like all things, begins through communication. You will provide them with instructions, and they ask questions as needed until the objective is understood. If a problem arises, the delegate will usually brainstorm a solution on their own or amongst their team. The point is for them to carry out the task without much interference from you. Recognition and coaching will go hand in hand as usual. Ask the employees to rate their performance and to give themselves a self-evaluation. Let them realize that you appreciate their hard work and the effort they put in and how much it paid off. Then compliment them. Always make sure that you show them how proud you are of their willingness to step up and complete the project. Management's hard. Emotions can run high when people are stressed, and motivating a team that is facing a tough obstacle can seem impossible. But as leaders, consistency is key. We must always remember that it is our job to make sure they are able to do their job. That's why we must ensure we are keeping our end of the deal by planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, and leading. When employees know that these tasks are covered, they can more easily focus on their assignments. We must also ensure that we are implementing the right leadership style at the right time. Directing, delegating, and discussing all have their drawbacks, but they also have their advantages. And when implemented strategically, they can make for a very successful team. I want to wish you all great luck. Have fun this weekend, learn everything you can, and thank you for your time.